Hi, y'all. We are here finally. It's a little later than normal. You can blame Zeus for that because it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are watching. Yeah, it's Mother's Day. They pissed me off dropping these episodes on Mother's Day, and I was with my family. Like I literally had to drive back home, so that's why it's later. I didn't get in until like 8 o'clock, and then the episodes was already out, and I had to eat and I had to watch it. So I just finished both episodes. I'm gonna do Bad Boys first, and then I'm gonna put like a little timestamp. So if you watch it for Bad Boys, you can watch for that, and then Baddies reunion that's gonna be at the end. And I'm gonna put a timestamp for that too, so you can watch it how you want to watch it, or you can watch it all the way through in full. That would be more recommended. That would help me out. But yeah, thank y'all, and thank y'all for the last video. The last video did good. I think it's the first video in a long time that I've had that went up to like 4.3K, I want to say. And thank y'all for the new subscribers. I got like 20 plus. Let's keep doing that. Thumbs up the video. Drop your comments down below and let's go ahead and get on into it. We got a lot to talk about. All right, so we're gonna start off with Bad Boys episode 4. This episode, kick back. I'll give you my thoughts at the end of this about the episode, but we got to the next day because at the end of the last week, we ended with them getting out of the strip club and whatever, and it was cool. Like they was having fun going back home. So the next day we get Orlando, Rails, and Banger. They sitting in like what looks to be like a living room type area. And Rails was talking about the night before and how he felt like Banger was distant because, as we know, Banger did not go out because he was still pissed about the whole fight with him and Lou. And I don't blame him because I'm the type of person, like I said, if I'm frustrated, I can't just like turn it off. Or if I'm pissed off about whatever happened and I'm just like antsed up, I can't like turn it off and immediately go hang out with you. Like it's not gonna happen. Especially if I have not felt like I got my one, and I'm not going to dead nothing with nobody. If I fight you, I fight you. I've never fought somebody and been friends with them. I'm sitting here trying to think about it. I've never fought somebody and then been friends with them after the fact. So in terms of that, I feel where Banger was coming from in that instant. But Banger said he just ain't want to be out because he had too much shit on his mind. Like he still wanted to get his one back. Like he literally wanted to get his lick back. And like I said, I don't blame him at all. But Orlando ended up talking about just trying to like break the ice or whatever and just be Orlando and whatever. He's talking about how Michael Jackson is his dad and his mama is Elvis. Just like being stupid and being funny. So that was pretty much it. Banger was pretty much saying that he's gonna get his lick back with Luke. That's just pretty much what he told Darrell, and Rel was like trying to calm him down, telling him to calm down. He said, I'm not calming down until I get my lick back. And I don't blame him. Like, let him get his lick back. But really wants it to be done with before getting on the bus. So he's like, if you're gonna do it before we get on the bus to go back to go to Austin. So that was the end of that scene. The next scene was pretty quick. It was JB. I'm not calling them Mo City. I just realized I'm not doing that no more. Like the little stupid names, I can't do it. So I'm gonna call Mo City JB, which is what they've been saying, Mo City JB. Carry On and Raz V, they was there. They sitting there recapping the night, doing the same stuff that normally happens on Zoo shows. Talking about the club and talking about how they going out to the club in Houston tonight because it's the last night in Houston. This is the club that JB is very familiar with. So they excited about that. And that's the end of that scene. The next scene, we get Jonathan with Banger. And Jonathan brought Banger some, like, he went out and bought him some fits and bought him some new shoes and whatever. And he said he was doing that because the dudes was basically trying to clown him, saying that he can't dress and whatever. And I thought that was cool that Jonathan was doing that. And throughout the episode, you can tell that Jonathan is actually trying to be cool with Banger. Like, you can tell this is the side of Jonathan that I like, when you can tell that he wasn't trying to like jump on him like the rest of these punks, which we'll get to later on, we're trying to do, because you see he's the odd man out. You see most of the people here trying to beef with him. And I think it's punk-like because he's obviously the smallest one. And it's like, this dude ain't did shit to none of these people. He just voiced his opinion on shit that I feel like was valid as well. And it's just like, it's pointless. But Jonathan was doing that. Banger appreciated it because at first he thought that Jonathan was coming in there to take that bed. And in his mind, he like, we're gonna have to scrap it out, apparently. But whenever he realized that's not what it was, he was happy about it. And like, he was cool about it. So like I said, Banger ended up telling Jonathan too that he gonna get his lick back with Lou. And he basically saying it the whole time, I'm gonna get my lick back. And Jonathan sitting there saying, like, I guess, I mean, you done got beat up 4 times, which I still stand on it. He did not get beat up. I don't think he got beat up. And he's saying, I can understand it. Like, if you want to get your lick back, get your lick back. And Jonathan would be the one to understand that because Jonathan is the type to always get his lick back if he feels like he needs to. And Banga says, and I want to make this a very, very moot point. He said he's going to fight him win, lose, or draw, and he's going to drop it. He said it in this scene, and he said it later on. We'll get to that. Win, lose, or draw. He either wins, loses, or draw. It's a tie. He's done fighting him. Keep that in mind. So the next scene we got Raz B and Orlando. They just basically chopping it up or whatever about their previous relationship because obviously these two are like the two celebrities. Like Raz B was in B2K and Orlando Brown was on That's So Raven. So they talking about that stuff and Orlando paving the way for him and da-da-da. Just a bunch of like meaningless shit, like truth be told, but it's just stuff to fill in. Orlando talking about getting second chances and stuff, taking advantage of the new opportunities that they have. Orlando was telling Raz B about how Natalie had bailed him out of jail, and Raz was like, it was cool, that's love, because they was getting him out because they could have left him there. And I'm like, is it really love, or is it the fact that they see like money? Because Orlando at the time he was in every blog about everything he was doing, and they see that as like, okay, that's ratings. Like that's what's gonna get us even more eyes on the network. Let's go ahead and bail him out of jail. And that's exactly what they did. Granted, I don't think she has any ill will when it comes to Orlando, but I feel like she definitely used it as a cash cow. It's like, okay, this dude is money. Like, why the fuck would I not want to have him on my show when he's on the tip of everybody in media's tongue? And he's kind of cuckoo crazy. He could come on here and act a fool. That's probably what Natalie was thinking. And I'm damn sure that was what the Zeus execs were thinking. Terrible when you think about it, but it's just the truth. But then Razzie was asking Orlando how he felt about the guys and whatever. He said he ain't got no issue with nobody. They just got to stay in line. Don't try it with him. And that was pretty much it with that. Jonathan and Rails ended up coming out with them and sitting down. And Rails talking about wanting to have another house meeting. And that's just kind of like what I'm saying is starting to become a trend with Rails. He's saying the same thing about how Raz is feeling like Raz was saying how he feels like Banger was distant from everybody and might not feel comfortable. Rails then tells them that Banger wants to fight, and Rails wants to have him talk instead of fight. And it's just like, at this point, just let him fight it out. And he just said, like, whenever he fought, well, I don't think he said it to Rails, so he don't know that. But he just wants to get his lick back. He wants to fight. And whenever he's done fighting, he's done fighting. And that's literally what he said. He just wants to get one more round and then he'll stop. And it's like, yeah, just let him do it. Because like, what's the point? What are we going to talk about? Like, what more is there to talk about? We talked about it, and then that's what led to the fight. So what else is there to talk about? So let's just go ahead and let these hands talk. So that's basically what it was. And Jonathan said the same thing I just said. Let him get his lick back. So the next scene, we get Lou and Banga. Lou sitting here going off because apparently Zeus did not want to record it because we didn't see the previous part, but apparently Banga came in there and was pressing him and ready to fight. So Lou's going off and saying that he don't want to fight no more because he got on Dolce and he already beat his ass. And I'm like, okay, that's a poor excuse because you were sitting here going around talking about how you tough, you from Miami and yada, yada, yada. But you claiming that you beat his ass. If you beat his ass, why aren't you gonna fight him again? Like, why are you so adamant about not doing it and then trying to use that Dolce as an excuse? Like, is that the only Dolce that you have? That's what I'm sitting there thinking. Like, you trying to use that as an excuse and trying to act like you really with a type of standard that it's clear that you're not. And then Prince has joined the list with Chef Teeth and Lou for me. Like, whack. And then he started interjecting, talking about how Banga needs to let it go because he ain't beating him or he ain't beating Lou. Beating you, like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Like, you sitting here trying to act like you tough when you clearly have shown in the past couple episodes that you scared of Jonathan. You scared of a couple of these dudes. You don't want no smoke with none of them, but now you want to sit here and act tough with the smallest dude in the house who y'all claim got his ass beat. Prince is a weirdo. Like, I don't like him at all. Like, this whole episode just like stamped it and solidified it for me. But Banga was saying he gonna do what he want to do. Like, I don't care what you gotta say. I'm gonna do what I want to do. If I want to fight, I'm gonna fight. And that's why I respect Banga. Like, Banga, he's right there, number one for me. He kind of topped Orlando for me this episode. But I respect what he's talking about. Like, you can't expect me not to want to get my lick back whenever I was getting tagged by two different dudes at one point. And then it's like this dude is jumping in on a fight that has nothing to do with him. So yeah, I'm gonna get my lick back. But they ended up moving to the game room to talk about it. And then Banger ended up clocking out everybody's getting mad at him for wanting to fight. And I'm like, yeah, like, what is the issue? Because y'all had no issue with Lou getting his rounds in. Y'all had no issue with that at all. So why is it an issue for him to want to get his round back? It's crazy to me. Like, that whole situation was crazy. And then Prince is still sitting there trying to tell Banger to get to the point, because he ended up talking about it and whatever. Tell him to get to the point. Like, why do you want to fight him? And it's like, why are you asking him? Why do you want him to? Why are you asking him? Why does he want to fight him when you just said to get to the point? Get to the point is get to them hands. So why are you asking him? Why do you want to fight? It's clear why I want to fight. We just went 4 rounds, and I feel like I didn't get the better end, so I want to get my lick back. What else is there to talk about? Like, you already know that. So move the fuck out the way and let me fight before I fight you. That's literally what I would have said. But Luce still claimed that he's not trying to fight because he already fought him 4 times. They finally ended up shutting up and letting them swap it out. And Banger was getting them. He didn't get him as good as I thought he was about to, but he definitely was getting them. He started swinging at first, and it's just like getting some practice shots off. And when I say practice shots off, he didn't get none on target when he first started swinging. He's just swinging just to swing. And Lou was trying to act like Lou got. I can see what his strategy is. He likes to try and like get up and try and act like he about to do something and trying to like press you to get you to swing first. And I'm like, that's another punk move, because like, if I have an issue with you, I'm not waiting on you to swing. Like, in some of the fights that I've been in, I've only had one where I got swung on first, and it wasn't my issue, but I blacked out, and the rest was history. But if I have an issue with you, I'm swinging first, and that's literally what he was doing. Bang was swinging first. And Bang ended up doing what he needed to do. They ended up, the security ended up pouncing. And I like the security allowed them to get a couple hits off. So that was cool, but they ended up pouncing after Banger was getting on them. Lou didn't start flipping out, talking about like, oh, he's pulling on my hair and whatever. So then he's now trying to get another round back, which is like, okay, that's funny, because Banger already said, like, once I'm done fighting, once we get that one in, I'm done. He didn't want to fight the whole time, but now that you just got touched, now you want to go another round because you got your ass kind of handed to you. I ain't gonna say you got your ass whooped, but you got it handed to you a little bit. Now he wants to get another round in, so now you see how it feels. Like, please stop playing. So then Banga is saying that he's done, and now, like I said, Lou wants another round. Prince, then again, still trying to interject, trying to tell Banger to like put the gloves on or whatever, after he was just sitting there bitching about like, why are you still trying to fight him? But now that he got his hands handed to him, you now are wanting Banger to get in the gloves. So it's like you contradicting what you was just saying before. You didn't want any more fights, but now you want another fight because Lou didn't win the fight that just happened. It's just like, these niggas, like, I can't stand half of them. Like, they really irritate me, especially Prince. And I can't wait for somebody to touch him. Like, I'm ready for somebody to whoop his ass. Like, I'm ready for it. Let me know how y'all feel about Prince, because he really is getting on my nerves this whole episode. But Banger said he ain't fighting no more. He said, I'm not fighting him no more. And he said that the first time. Once I'm done, I'm done. And then they ended up going another round because Lou ended up trying to press on him again. Banger ended up rocking him again, if you ask me. Like, he got more licks off in that one little scuffle that they had. So Banger did his big one. Like, he came back and did his big one. And that was pretty much it. And then they ended up asking Banger if he was done. And I'm still going on and on about this, but they started asking Banger if he was done with after that fight, the second round. And it's like, why are y'all asking him when he already told y'all after the first round he was done? Now y'all trying to make him get in the gloves. He got another round with him, and then y'all still sitting here asking him when Lou was the one that wanted another round after that first round. It's just like they were sitting there contradicting themselves the whole time, and it was irritating me. But after all that, Lou was talking about how he wasn't fighting him for because Banger had walked away at this point. Lou was talking about how he wasn't really fighting him for real or whatever, trying to like downplay it. You trying to downplay it because you thought you was gonna get your ones again, and you still got your ass handed to you. So it was a bunch of cap. And then they ended up trying to vote him out too, trying to vote Banga out. Jonathan said no, he should not go home for that. And I'm like, thank you, Jonathan. Like, because it's pointless. And it's so funny because Jonathan, I think Jonathan was the only one that said no, or at least was the only one that vocalized saying no, he should not go home. And the minute he said no, they all dropped it. It's just like Jonathan's the top dog. A lot of these niggas are punks. Like the only ones that I don't feel are scared of Jonathan is JB and Orlando and Banger. That's really it. Rails might not be scared of him because they cool. Carry on, I don't know. He might be kind of iffy with it because he already know how Jonathan get down. But the rest of them, they trying to like suck on Jonathan's feet to like make sure that they don't get clocked the next round with him. But they ended up clearing out and they ended up going and getting ready to go out. So they ended up packing up their shit because after the club that night, they go into Austin. So they get ready to go out to the club. They get on the bus. Prince is sitting there trying to toast, talking about pretty much telling them how to act and whatever. He's saying that Ras B was embarrassing him the night before when he was dancing on the strippers and whatever, because Ras B was on top of him twerking and getting twerked on and everything. And I'm like, essentially, that's what a strip club is. Like, you go in there to get dances and throw money. Like, you there to get dances from strippers. And you dare to dance with the strippers, essentially, like, especially if you performing and you performing with the strippers on the stage, why the fuck would you not? Maybe I didn't even say he was doing too much. That's what you do in a strip club. Like, I didn't see what Raz B was doing. It was funny to watch, but like, why are you embarrassed about it? That ain't got shit to do with you. Prince is, he's a weirdo. He said it was inappropriate. So I'm like, how was that inappropriate? You at a strip club. There is nothing appropriate about a strip club. Like, what? I'm so confused. But they ended up talking about how they don't want Banger to feel left out or whatever. Lou was saying that Banger probably felt like nobody fucks with him. And Banger was saying like he kind of felt like he was left out or whatever. They ended up hugging it out or whatever. Banger then gets to dancing or whatever, and they all start vibing, kind of hyping them up or whatever. So that was a cool little moment. I don't know how Banger ended up dapping that out with Lou, but he did. That's not my battle. That's not my fight. Me, I couldn't do it. I can sit there and be cordial with you, but like, it is what it is. So they ended up getting to the club. They get in their section. Everybody's dancing around and jumping around and doing whatever they're doing. They listen to the music. This is pretty much a quick montage scene. Nothing really happened in the club. Jonathan goes outside because he was hot. Ends up racing security in the middle of the street. Now that's the type of shit I would be doing. Like, that's some fun stuff. Like, I love racing. Like, I don't know if a lot of y'all did that growing up, but we would be out in the streets every single night. Everybody in the neighborhood, street racing. Like, that's the type of energy I'd be on. But they ended up getting on the bus, going home. So the next day, they ended up packing up the bus, heading to Austin. So Jonathan ends up talking about how the last time he was in Austin, he ended up whooping some nigga's ass. Chef D was then talking about how the energy was off on the bus while they was there, because it was like they started in the morning and it kind of got to like night and they still was on the bus, which I found crazy because ain't Austin and Houston like maybe 2 hours apart, maybe an hour, not that much. Movie Bay, you could tell because I know you from Texas, but I wouldn't think they would be on the bus that long, but they were. But as I said, Chef D was saying that the energy was off, and Orlando ends up confronting Raz B, saying that he didn't know why Raz would tell him that Prince was going to end up getting ran down on by Chef D. Which Orlando kind of disappointed me when he did that, because I'm like, what is the point in you doing that in front of all these dudes? He was kind of being messy. And Raz B was kind of thrown off on it. Like, I thought we was tight like that where we can have this conversation. I didn't know he was going to throw it back in my face. But Orlando was talking about how he and Prince had kind of built some type of friendship relationship to where he felt like he didn't want Prince to end up being caught off guard or whatever. And it's like, I can understand that, but why you had to say it in front of all these people? Like, why you couldn't just tip him off, period? It's like, be like, look, just keep your eye on this one because he might end up trying to run down on you. But I wish he wouldn't have said it, because if Chef D actually did run down on him, I would laugh because Prince deserves it. But they ended up going back and forth. Raz was saying that he regrets telling Orlando because he didn't know that he was loyal to all these other niggas in here. And then Orlando was saying, like he said, like I said, about him building that relationship or whatever. So Raz B is trying to explain why he said it to Orlando. Prince ends up trying to jump in, telling him to speed up and get to the point like he was doing with Banger. It's like, dude, shut up. Like, yes, it had something to do with you this time, but he was asked a question and he was answering the question. Like, shut up. and you ain't gonna do nothing about it no way. Prince is trying to act like in the moment he was trying to act like he's some tough dude, but you was sitting here acting like a punk the whole first 2 episodes. So I'm tired of hearing him. I'm tired of watching him. Chef D ends up talking about some pointless shit. Carry On ends up clocking him about it because they was talking about a bottle or whatever. And apparently this is why Chef D has an issue with Raz B, because everybody was chipping in for the bottles that they was having at the club, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. And he basically was saying that Raz B did not pay his half in the cut with the bottles. So he was mad that he didn't pay. So in that instance, if that is true, I don't blame Chef D for being irritated, because that would irritate me too. Because if we all gonna go in half on a bottle, pay your cut or don't drink. So I understand where he's coming from there, but Chef D ends up standing up and then attacks Raz B. So security ends up jumping on it, and that was pretty much the end of the episode. Next week we got Raz B in Orlando. Chef D is trying to get with Carry On, end up trying to fight him apparently. Orlando and Banger look like they kind of got into a little tussle, which is interesting. And then they get to the house, and there's 2 houses, and that was pretty much it. So that's the end of that. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about Bad Boys. We about to get into Baddies reunion. Stay with me. All right, y'all. So we are here for the Baddies reunion. Let's jump on into that. So the girls, they ended up arriving. That's the first little scene. Janisha and Stevie, they end up arriving as well. So in these first round of scenes, we got Natalie and Scotty, they in a trailer together. You got Rolly, Cat, and Lo, they in a trailer together. And you got Stunner and DJ Sky in a trailer. So it's a bunch of little topics going on in these little scenes with the girls. Sky is in there saying that she's ready to get active and get childish. Stunner says she always ready to get active, as we already know. So Sky's in here got a point to prove because she didn't do nothing all season. So that's pretty much where she's at right there. Natalie and Scotty, they sitting in there. Scotty saying that she's not gonna fight Natalie. Punk, like stupid, like you want to fight everybody but the one that you should have been fighting. Like Natalie's your best friend and she put her hands on you. And she scratched you up. Like, come on now. That's grounds for getting your ass beat. But Scotty is a different type of person. Like, ooh, I don't like her. I ain't a fan of her. So I'm gonna let y'all have that. But Scotty's still saying that she's still on top of Razor. That's the one she want to beef with, because she feel like she did her big one and got one over on Razor. That's why she's that. That's the whole thing that I can see with Scotty. She's the type of person that whenever she feel like she got over and got the upper hand on somebody, she gonna try and pick with that one for the rest of the time. And it's like, for what? And she said, this is what she said, for what I'm sitting here trying to ask. I'm asking the question. I'm about to answer it though. Scotty was saying that Razor was talking all this shit online on the internet. And she said she did it before the premiere and said she was on live a couple times. And I'm like, a couple times? I don't even remember Razor going live a couple times. Maybe I'm wrong, because I don't think I started following Razor until like, actually I was following Razor before they filmed, I think. Because the cast came out before they filmed, and I think I was following Razor before that. And I don't remember her going live. Maybe I missed it. But she claiming that she was talking shit. Last time, the one that I did catch and saw it on the blog, she was calling her Scotty the Naughty. What else was different? She said that to you on the show. Like, what else is different about that? But you just trying to pick a point because the fans done gassed your head up, having you think that you some Billy Badass, which she clearly thinks she is. I saw some clips from them ghetto ass Baddies East auditions that happened this weekend. And apparently she running up on the girls again. So we'll see how that comes out. But yeah, so that's pretty much what that is. She's saying that it needs to be addressed or whatever. Natalie's sitting there being messy, trying to like instigate it, saying like how she's talking about she's going to rearrange her BBL and whatever, talking about like she's going to try and like pop it in and whatever, just being stupid and trying to be funny or whatever. And all the while they sitting here fake hitting this blunt. Like they got a blunt and they ain't even inhaling it, just like on some vape shit. So I'm like, okay, that was whack to me. But Rolly ends up getting it. We go in there with Rolly, Cat, and Lo. Rolly saying that Biggie was always negative. She said it became very irritating for her. They were friends at one point, and with her focusing on Stunner the whole time, like it was irritating her because it's like that's not even your beef. It was a whole beef with Tommy and Stunner, and you ended up interjecting yourself into it and making it your beef for the rest of the show. So that's pretty much where that was coming from. And she was saying that Biggie was popping a lot of it, and she ended up calling her and cussing her out. Sky and Stunner. Stunner is saying that how Biggie spent the entire time talking about her, made Stunner her whole entire storyline for the whole season, which is true. They're talking about how Tommy ended up making her look like a fool, which she did with the whole like believe him, bitch. And that was kind of like a theme with all of their conversations when they started talking about Biggie. They all felt like Tommy made a fool out of her, which she did in the scenes. Like Tommy said it. Tommy has since retracted and said that she didn't feel that way, but it's like you still said it on TV, and it was aired, and there was no back conversation about how you really feel, supposedly. So in that moment, yeah, you embarrassed her and you made her look stupid, which is her own fault because everybody warned her about it. But Natalie was then saying how she on Tommy, and she said if Stunner ends up getting on her, she gonna get on her. And Scotty saying no jumping, but she low key was like on some tag team shit. She's like, you let Stunner do hers and then tag in. And I'm like, okay, I guess I can agree with that as long as it's not a 2-on-1 type of situation. I can agree with that, but at least I guess give Tommy a chance to get herself together. Like that's the whole thing with me. I don't like when people try to take advantage of somebody when they're already down. Me, if I'm gonna fight you, I want to fight you fair, and I want you. And unless you jump at me, that's the only way. But if I'm fighting you 1-on-1 and I have an issue with you, I want to fight you fair. Like I want the best of you, and I'm ready to really get down on you. And that's just my opinion. But y'all tell me what y'all think about that. But Kat ends up talking about how she had to get on live and had to check Tommy and Biggie about how they were sitting there trying to play her, saying that she was Stunner Girl's assistant because everybody was clowning Biggie about how she was pretty much Tommy's lapdog. And Kat was saying like that it was never that. And that's what I've been saying the whole season. A lot of y'all disagree, which you're entitled to that opinion. But I feel like what Kat was saying is what Kat was doing. Kat was trying to be cool with Stunner. Because for the majority of the episode or the majority of the season, a lot of the girls was not fooling with her at all. And Kat is the type of person that she's not going to jump on that bandwagon type shit. Like if she sees somebody that is low key getting like ganged up on for no real apparent reason, why would I do that? And then I feel like I can relate to you and I feel like I like you as a person. So why would I not want to hang around with you and make you feel comfortable? And that's just kind of what she was doing. But a lot of y'all disagree. That's what I feel. That's the way I saw it. And that's the way Kat was explaining how she felt. And they all said that Biggie was looking crazy when Tommy was dogging her. Like I said, Sky then ends up talking about how Rolly said that she had no talent. But her TV debut was her being on Jerry Springer, rolling around in Alfredo sauce. I've seen the clip of that. I don't remember the gist of it, but I've seen clips of it. So I might need to go watch that. But she ends up bringing out some Alfredo, trying to be funny. Sky looked corny in this whole entire scene. Like she was trying her best to have like a BGC type moment, like how Megan brought the juice to the reunion at one time. This is kind of what that gave me. And Rolly was sitting in the other scene talking about how Sky looked like a mutt and she's a dick rider, which I agree with. Like it's pretty valid. Stunner ends up talking about how Rolly, and I liked how they was kind of rolling these scenes into beats. Like whenever they started talking about a certain topic, if somebody else from the other scenes had certain beats with this person, it kind of like rolled into their scene where they were explaining it. So that was a good plus when it comes to the editing for Zeus, because you know Zeus and their editing is not always great. But Stunner was saying that Rolly was lying, talking about how she didn't apologize to her in Vegas and was wanting to work with her, swearing up and down that she was not coming back to Zeus, but here she is again. That was true. I can't even lie. I like Rolly, but that was true. She's been saying numerous times that she's not going to be on Zeus, and here she is still on Zeus. And as we know, she's still on Zeus because she was at the auditions this weekend judging. So Rolly just stopped saying that. But Rolly said that Stunner is on her hit list too because she talked too much. Lo was drinking water, saying that she ain't trying to get caught slipping again, aka the way she ended up getting caught slipping with Krishan. And I guess she probably was chopping that up to her drinking at the time, but she wants to have a clear, sober vision so she don't end up getting snuck. And then lastly, we got Natalie claiming that she just don't know who everybody got beef with. She feels like everybody in here is going to fight and it's going to be a shit show. So the next scene we got is Janisha and Stevie. And I'm not going to lie to you at all. I skipped right on through it. Because I don't care. Like, they're not talking about nothing that's really worth noting. So then scene 3, we get Tommy arriving to the scene. It's dark. Like when the girls got here, it was daytime. It was nighttime when Tommy showed up. And they all ended up getting to set. Janisha ends up coming outside, introducing, playing the super trailer. Stevie comes out. They having some more bullshit talk. And then the girls finally come out. The first 3 that come out was Natalie, Rolly, and Scotty. Stevie was asking them why they got sneakers on because Rolly and Natalie had their sneakers on, had on some sweatpants. That's what Rolly had on. Natalie had on like some cargo-ish type pants and like a t-shirt, well, tank. And Rolly had on a t-shirt. Scotty was in there wearing like some blue bodysuit where she could take off her heels and be flat-footed. So they all ready to fight. So Natalie was saying like she got beef with everybody. Scotty and Rolly pretty much are there with her, and they kind of like have an unspoken bond at this point because they were the girls from last season. She said the new bitches need to stop trying to press them. And it's like, Natalie, stop thinking because you've done a show before that these girls or that y'all are above being approached when y'all do messy and stupid shit. Like, these girls can still fight you if they feel the need to fight you, especially if you're doing stuff that warrants somebody putting their hands on you. Especially Scotty. Scotty has a reason to put her hands on you, but she won't do it. Why? Do I have to say it? But Rolly ended up saying a lot of back and forth was going on between her and Stunna and DJ Sky. She said DJ Sky mainly because Krishan's not there, and that was her storyline. She was not lying about that. She's saying that DJ Sky was saying that certain girls had turned on her. Rolly was saying like, nobody even knows you in real life. So when you're talking about people turning on you, don't nobody talk to you like that. And that's essentially what she was saying. Because I believe, if I can remember correctly, when they were about to film this stuff, like the day before they was filming the reunion, a lot of the girls was hanging out with Glorilla and stuff, and Sky was the only one that was not invited. So she felt a type of way about that and got online and was just going off. And Rolly felt the need to chime in. So Scotty ends up saying that she was coming for Razor, still talking about Razor, but she ain't there. Natalie's sitting there instigating it, claiming that Razor had gotten scared. I watched Razor's interview with Dara. I don't feel like Razor was scared. I feel like Razor was just over it. Like, you can tell she's like, I feel like when she watched the whole situation back, I ain't gonna say she was embarrassed, but I can tell she probably was like, this ain't the look I'm trying to continue to do. It's just like, sometimes you just see how you act, and sometimes you see, okay, well, this is kind of what's gonna happen when I go to this reunion. So is this really a reason for me to go? And then she said that she missed her flight. Who knows if that's true or not? But the fact of the matter is, she just did not want to come. Who knows what the reason is? People trying to say she was scared. I don't believe she was scared, but that's my opinion. That's y'all's opinion. It is what it is. They ended up playing the clip of Razor and Scotty's beef. And the clip they showed, Razor got her licks in. She got her licks in. I ain't gonna say she beat Scotty, but she got her licks in on that one. And that kind of shows you that Zeus is pretty selective and kind of favoritism, like when it comes to what they show and how they show it for certain people. Because on the show, in that one little fight scene, it looked like Scotty was really getting Razor, and Razor got nothing off on her. Razor got a couple licks in. But Natalie was talking about how Tommy was pretty much talking about Tommy saying that she had got paid. You know, Tommy was saying she got paid off to lose the fight and whatever, which I don't believe. And I feel like that was some bullshit too. Like Natalie, I feel like Natalie whooped her fair and square. Like the way Tommy was looking. And that's the thing too. You can't pay me to lose a fight. You can't. Like, if I'm gonna fight, and that's just me in general. I'm a very competitive person, and then I got a lot of pride too. If I'm gonna accept the fight, it is what it is. If I get beat up, it's gonna be a fair and square get beat up. Like, it is what it is. And I just don't see Tommy taking money to get beat up. Like, that's not her brand. So I just don't see it. So what Natalie was saying, I agree with her. She was saying that every media outlet was trying to hit her up for an interview, whatever. Oh, excuse me. Lo and Kat end up coming out, and they look good. Like, they look real good. Janisha was saying, clearly y'all ain't got no drama because y'all looking pretty and whatever. And Lo said that she tried to stay out of the drama. Stevie was trying to put the moves on them. Like, you could tell he was low-key trying to like flirt. And Kat was pretty much saying like, She gonna address the shit with Biggie and Tommy, acting like she was an assistant. Same thing I told y'all earlier. She's like, she was just trying to help the younger girls. And Kat is ready to run it back to her BGC days. Like, y'all really wanted her to turn up so bad. And it's like a lot of people saying, why didn't you do this on the show? Because she had no reason to. It's like, if she would have done it, y'all would have been saying she was doing too much. And then the fact that she was not out here fighting when she had no reason to fight, she wasn't doing a lot. So it's like, what do you want? Like, y'all want people to do too much, or do you want them to be authentic? Me, I like you being authentic. So Kat was not an issue on the show for me. But Janisha then asked them, after all that, she goes around and asks everybody how they was doing after the show or whatever. Everybody was pretty much saying the same thing, like they was getting bookings and whatever, businesses is booming and whatever. So all that stuff was pretty much the consensus of what was happening. So after all that, Biggie ends up coming out. Biggie was saying that she has not been talking shit online. Rolly immediately interjects and says, yes, you have. You've been talking shit on Bigo. Biggie was saying that she's been booked and busy, endorsement deals, all that shit coming out. Stevie then asked Scotty who she was dating, and he's flirting with her heavy. Like, you can tell Stevie is flirting with her heavy. And that was a funny moment. Everybody's pretty much saying the same thing. Book. Natalie was saying that she was chilling or whatever, and she don't know why they trying to play on Kat's top. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know why they keep trying to play Kat like she really ain't with it. Because like a lot of people sitting here trying to act like this because she didn't do nothing on the show, that Kat don't have a past and Kat ain't really with what she's talking about. And I guess we just have to wait and see. But Stunna and Sky end up coming out, and Stunna and Biggie immediately get into it. She runs up. Sky's sitting there waiting. As you can see, Sky's, a lot of people was trying to say Sky probably did her big one with Rolly, but what I saw tonight, Sky ain't doing no big one with nobody. Because she waited for Stunna to run up, and then she like slowly ran up on Rolly, kicked. Rolly grabbed her and put that bitch on her back, looking stupid in this first round. So the first round is done. Sky lost the first round. It wasn't a fight, but she was the one that looked stupid in the end. I didn't see nobody throw no hands in their fight. Biggie and Stunna snatched her up. Biggie was trying to swing and swinging around like this, but she wasn't connecting nothing. So Stunna kind of like yoked her up. So we'll see if they get another round. But next week we get Tommy coming out. Tommy comes out. Scotty trying to get into it with Tommy for what, I don't know. Tommy and Kat. Who else? Tommy and Natalie. And then Rolly and Stunna. So that's what we got. So let me know what y'all thought about the reunion. And actually, I have to say this. This was the first reunion that I feel like we had a cohesive amount of time when it was on the stage and conversations was being had. That was interesting to me. That was very interesting. So we'll see how the rest of this plays out, which I'm pretty sure is not going to be the same. But let me know what y'all thought about the episode. Let me know what y'all thought about Bad Boys. Let me know what y'all thought about this. Thumbs up the video, drop the comments down below, subscribe if you have not already. Follow me on my socials. Like I said, I'll be on Twitter all the time. If you really want to talk to me and really want to hear how I have to, what I have to talk about certain things, I'm over there. And you'll probably be able to catch me a lot better over there than Instagram. But if you do want to check me there, I'm there too. And yeah, happy Mother's Day to y'all. Thank y'all again for what y'all did for the last video. Run that up, thumbs up the video, drop the comments, and I will see y'all next week on time. Peace.